Okay, so this is the last section of the chapter, and this is us figuring out APR. Can someone tell me what APR is? It was a vocab word from previous sections. Well, what's A? And P is what? Yep, and what's R? Good. Okay, so the first one is fairly straightforward. You have a table that's on your chart. Jason, go ahead and read number one for me.
Juan Norris obtained a $1,500 installment loan to buy a racing bicycle. The finance charge was $146.25. He will repay the loan in 18 monthly payments. What is the APR?
Okay, now if you notice, both of these examples use the same amount of data, or the same data. 18 payments, $1,500 loan, finance charge $146.25. Okay, so taking this information, we're using this formula. So we're going to take the one. Did I write that wrong? It should be a 6.
Yeah.
146.25 over 1,500. So how you put this in the calculator, because you have to go left to right, 100 times 146.25 divided by 1,500 is 9.75. Now we know this, we can look at the chart, okay? So we're looking as close as possible to 9.75 and 18. Let's take a look at that. So notice there isn't a 9.75, but there is a 9.77, okay?
12%.
Yep, so our answer is 12% in this case using the table. So let's go through this again. It's the finance charge divided by 1,500, that's the amount that borrows, that's the amount that goes, or excuse me, the amount finance goes on the bottom. So you multiply 100 times the finance charge, 146.25, divided by the loan, 1,500, you get 9.75. This tells you what the finance charge is, so you can take this and the 18 payments and go to the table, okay? So it's 9.77, there isn't a 9.75. Look for 18 payments where those numbers meet, the APR is 12%. Okay, so this is the table method. Now this is the long way, okay? We're taking the same exact information, okay? So this is our formula for APR. I broke down what the variables are. M is the number of payments, F is the finance charge, N is the number of payments, and A is the amount financed. Okay? Now I want to show you something. This 95, this 9, this 12, this 4, this 1 are never changing in the formula. They're always there. Yep.
M and N are the same?
M and N?
Yeah, are they the same or?
No. That's per year. Yeah. Now, you could have multiple. Let's say they were semi-monthly. The payments were twice a month. I mean, it doesn't happen too often, but people that are reestablishing their credit typically, they'll put them on schedules like that. So, yeah, those are different. But this, I will tell you, most of our problems, the M is always going to be 12. Unless it was semi or it was quarterly or something along those lines. This is a very typical situation, okay? So, we know most of this, right? We know that M is 12. We know what the finance charge it told us, 146.25. We don't do anything with the 95, that stays alone. 95 next to M, that means multiply. How many payments? 18 payments. Then plus 9. The plus 9 is set in the formula, it hasn't changed. Any questions with the top part of this? So 12, it's always going to be 12, typically. Very rarely is it's not going to be 12. Times the finance charge. 95 is set in the formula. 18, that's the amount of payments, and then 9. Okay, now on the bottom. This is 12 times N, okay? So 12 times 18, because there's 12 payments in a year, there's 18 payments total. And then N, total of the payments plus 1, so 18 plus 1. Then inside here, this is 4A. A is amount financed. So it's 4 times the amount that they're financed, 1,500. So 4 times 1,500. And then the finance charge of the 146.25. Any questions of where these numbers came from? You want to go through one more time? Okay, so 12 is set, right? Because there's 12 months in a year. The finance charge, they told us what it was. So 146.25. Okay, the 95 is a set number. N is the number of payments, which are 18. Okay, and then plus 9. So plus 9. It's set in the formula, set in the formula.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so on the bottom, 12 times n, so 12 times the number of payments, 12 times 18, the number of payments, 18, 18 plus 1. Then 4 times the amount financed, so 4 times 1,500, plus the finance charge of 146.25. Good morning. Yeah.
I mean,
Now it's just, yeah, honestly, the math itself isn't hard, it's setting up the problem, okay? So it helps to write this out on the top of your paper as you do problems like this. You don't have a lot of problems like this. Okay, now as far as solving this, we need to solve inside the parentheses first. We have to do it left to right. So we have to multiply this first. Okay, we have to multiply this first, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's do it together in the calculators. Take 95 times 18 and then plus 9. Tell me what your answer is.
1,719.
Okay, now we're going to take 12 times 146.25. Tell me how much that is.
What is it again?
You're taking 12 times 146.25.
No, 1,755.
Okay, so we took care of this. That goes right here. This is still in parentheses because we have to multiply it. This came to 719, right? 95 times 18 plus 9, 1719. 12 times 146.25, 1755. Then we're going to multiply these. Now, don't get freaked out if it's a huge number. The number is going to be huge because we're dealing with percentages. So the numbers are going to be big. So we multiply this out. We get 3,016,845. Now let's deal with the bottom one. In your calculators, well, let's do this first. 4 times 15,
6,000?
okay, plus 146.25.
6,146.25.
Okay, so there's all that, right? Now, what we have left is we have this 18 plus 1 is 19, and then 12 times 18, which is 216, right? Put this in your calculator, check it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now from here, so we took care of this. We have the 18 plus 1, and then the 6,146.25. So we're going to multiply this. We're going to multiply 19 times this, and then multiply it by 216. Tell me what you come up with. So $6,146.25 times 19 times 216. You should get a big number.
I got 25 million,
Yep.
220.
Yep.
Yeah,
Two-
it's the same number though.
Yeah, $224,210, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we have this, we can divide this, okay? So we take the 3,016,845 divided by the 25,224,214, and this is the answer that we get. Now remember, this is a percentage, right? So now, remember what you do when you multiply by a percentage?
Right.
Right, so we have to go to the right to write this percentage out. Where if we're putting in 11, or let's say 0.075, right? We got to move the decimal place twice. So same thing here. We want to move the decimal place twice to the right, and it told us in the problem actually to round it to the nearest 100ths. So we just write it as 96. That 0 doesn't do anything. If this was a 5 or greater, we increase that to a 7. But this is our answer. Now I want to show you something. You see this? 11.96. All this data is the same thing as this chart right here. But see, this one came up to 12%. Okay, is that pretty close?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very close. It's 4/100ths of a percent. However, it makes a difference in regards to the numbers and the payments and the interest and the total amount accumulated on the loan. So this is the table, fairly close. This is the actual, all the way down to the penny. Very, very close here. Okay, any questions on this?
So all we're doing is trying to find the APR?
Yes, all you're doing is finding the APR because it gave you everything else. It told you what the finance charge is, it told you what the loan is, it told you what the payments were. So either using the table and finding it, or you're following this formula and going through it. Okay? Yes?
The problems in the brackets
Yes?
and with them having parentheses, is it just like PEMDAS, just doing the parentheses?
Exactly like it, yeah. And that's how we walked through the problem. As we were doing this, we had to take care of this first. 95 times 18 plus 9 is 1719, so we leave this in parentheses.
Okay.
And then 12 times 146.25 is 1755. Now we multiply these. This is how we got the 3 million. Then here, same thing. We need to multiply this, bring it out. We need to add this. That's 19, still inside parentheses. I really didn't need this bracket here. It wasn't really necessary. And then 4 times 1,500 plus $146.25 is $6,146.25. Now, in this problem, we have to multiply, oh, that's why I put the brackets, because we have to multiply this first before we go to this.
Okay.
Okay, because we have the 19 in parentheses. So we multiply this and then multiply by 216, and we get the 25 million. Then we divide these and we get the finance charge. Remember, this is not your answer. You got to move the decimal place twice to the right. Okay, and typically every number after that, go to 2 places. And most of the time, it'll tell you to round to the nearest tenth. So this is sufficient. Yes.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna forget to put the brackets. You know how you have like 12 times?
You can leave them in parentheses if you want. Like I could make a suggestion. If you did this, then you could leave it like this, and then like this. Let's test it. 216 times 19 times $6,146.25.
216 times.
19 times $6,146.25.
Same result.
Same result.
Yeah.
Now, if there was division or was there a fraction involved and so on, it could have changed the numbers. Now, ultimately, we were multiplying all of them, so it didn't matter what order it went into. But the correct procedure would be multiply inside the parentheses first, because we solved this one, it came out of the parentheses. Okay? Any questions?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously you want to have the, you didn't have vocabulary. You want to have the notes done. You want to try to get through number 11. I'm going to kind of gauge and see how you guys do on this. You don't have a lot of problems with this way, but you need to be solid within this formula.
Okay.
Okay? And this is the last part of the chapter, and then we're going to get ready to test.
Hi, Peters.
Whoa, good morning.